to those.
Welcome to the Prisoner to Painter podcast, stories of inspiration, where we talk about mental health, addiction, religion, becoming a business owner and self-sufficient, for what, when, where, and why. Join us and we can be your local hope dealer.
Inspiration and dedication. I came a long way from sleeping in them pages. I got my life back. I feel amazing. Life's a book, don't get stuck on sad pages. Rainy days with no money. Hard work leads to days that are sunny. Looking back, it was all needed. The problems, the pain, the trauma, the grieving. You are now tuned in to the prisoner to painter. Prisoner to painter. Hard work, dedication. Rainy days, inspiration. Prisoner to painter.
And now, a word from your local hope dealer.
We're live to both platforms.
Perfect. Welcome to the Prisoner to Painter podcast. I'm Nathan McDermott.
And I'm Katie
And
McDermott.
today joining us at the table, we have Seymour Black.
What's up, man? I'm doing good. How are you, bro?
Doing good, man. Thank you for coming on. You were probably one of my most excited ones that you said yes. Took a little bit to schedule you on, but I'm just glad that you made it. So
No, for sure, bro.
awesome.
I'm happy to be here. It's really exciting for me.
Good stuff, dude. Well, it seems like a lot of people follow you, and so not only your music, though, it seems like a lot of people just follow you in general. It seems like you have met a lot of people and have had a lot of impact on people.
Yeah, I don't know, man. My grandma always told me I was way too friendly. I just make friends everywhere I go. And I think it's just trying to be kind to people.
Yeah. Well, hell, it's not a bad characteristic to have charisma. So here I just kind of like to dive right on in and then just go from there. I ask normally, how was your childhood and where does your story start? And I say those in the same breath, I guess.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I feel like my story really would start when I was a kid. I always felt pretty displaced, and that was just a chip on my shoulder, I think. I didn't have a good relationship with my dad because he wasn't necessarily around when I was a kid. He was in prison actually for most of my childhood.
Right.
So I always felt the chip about him not being there. And then my mom faced her own addiction. Okay. So she didn't necessarily have custody of me. I remember her first asking me when I was like 6 years old or so. She's like, "Do you want to go live with your grandma?" And I'm 6, so I think that just means I'm about to eat snacks all the time and play the game, and I don't have to go to school anymore. Like, oh man, this is gonna be the life. I can't wait. Yeah. But I didn't actually know that she was losing, everything in her life. I didn't really realize that my mom was going through something like life changing. Mm-hmm. She was, I want to say, on heroin. We don't really talk about it and shit, but I just know that affected, like, me and my brothers and sister got separated. My sister started living with her people in Detroit, and I started living with my dad's family because at the time we thought all of my mom's kids came from different people. But it turns out that my brother that was born after me has the same dad too. Okay. But I started living with their family. My grandparents took care of me, and maybe about a year or so after they first got me, my grandpa had 3 strokes. So it was a lot of us taking care of each other. You know what I mean? He wasn't supposed to live for 8 or 9 months. He actually lived another 13 years, which was like remarkable, And my grandma took care of him, and I helped take care of him as I got bigger and older and stuff. But I was never too far away from my mom. It was my mom. She still lived in town. She still had my 2 youngest brothers, so I tried to be around them even when I wasn't supposed to by the court. My grandma couldn't keep me away from my mom. I'd leave school to go. I'd walk to my mom's house at 3rd grade. I'm like, nope, not going to school today. Where are my little brothers at? Did they go to school? You know what I'm saying? What's going on? And I always spent summers there too. As often as I could. And there's a few times where I even went to live with her again, but she wasn't out of her addiction yet. She made great attempts though. Yeah. She had big gaps where she was really on her stuff, but I ended up I want to say in about 6th grade or so, I just got back with her, after that was like 4 or 5 years. Yeah, no, about 4 years, because 2nd grade to 6th grade.
Yes.
And I had just gotten back with her, but I stopped going to school. I probably only went to school like 41 or 42 days that total year, bro, because I was always with my mom.
Okay.
I was scared of losing her,
Yeah.
So I just was always with her. Like I'd be like, I'm not going to school today. And she knew what that meant, because I wanted to know that she was going to be safe, even though I couldn't do anything about it. But, so that said, at one point, the police actually showed up with my school principal and took me back to my grandmother's, and I was not doing good. Like, I was like, it wasn't because I was not fed or anything like that, but like, I was completely unkempt. It probably looked really bad,
Well, and then the stress of being a kid worried about their mom is that's not healthy. Like, no matter how you cut it, that's not very healthy.
No, for sure.
Yeah. How many siblings did you have growing up?
I have a lot of siblings. I got my big sister Rihanna, and then I have Juan behind me, Chris, and then Justin. No, Elijah Juan, and then Justin and Alexis. It's just split between my mom and dad. My dad has a bunch of kids, and my mom has 4. But 2 of them are my dad's. It's weird math. No. But I got a lot of siblings, and then I got siblings that like came through marriage, too. So then there's Noah, Isaiah, Hannah. We're pretty. It's cool because they're younger than us, so this came like after all of us were out of the house and stuff, and it's like, no, we got some new younger siblings. They're really cool people.
Yeah, heck yeah, man. So you said, what was it? You said about 6th grade is when you started getting in trouble going to see your mom all the time?
I wasn't getting. No, I was actually staying with her again.
Oh, okay. Sorry,
I was back. No, it's okay. I stumbled a lot over because I'm trying to recall it.
Yeah.
I probably could have wrote some of this down. But
no, you're good.
I just I don't mind talking about it at all.
Awesome.
I'd say there's been multiple times I was in trouble for just not going to school, but yeah, that they had showed up because I was not going to school. And when I went to school, I'd go to sleep like all day. I'd be knocked out, and the teachers were really empathetic. I really remember that. Like, we had some, I remember multiple times waking up in class and people would be laughing at me, and like the teacher would straight up be like, what are you laughing about? Like, he was not, I think those people really cared for me. When I think back, like the principal showed up,
That's impressive.
Like really he showed up with the police, like he out in the middle of the day, like just to make sure I got out of there. And that's cool. And I really admired the different adults that have poured into me, including like my mom has always been loving and wonderful, so it's like, I'm lucky. I think that's probably the biggest thing I always want to tell people. Like, there's people that have gone through so much worse than I have, and like, I'm a lucky one. I made it out. There's people that give up every day, there's people that just don't make it. Sometimes bad things just happen, and people get up in shitty situations, and there's nothing they can do about it. And I really think about how lucky I am.
Yeah. And this is why I love, and I'll say this 100 times. This is why I love this podcast. This is why I love having people on. Because today is your day. It's about you. It's about your story. But I super enjoy hearing this about your mother, and then finding out that she sobers up and seeing the house that she lives in. It's phenomenal to see that. But hearing your story can give hope to maybe kids that are going through the same thing. So you lived with your grandparents. You were saying 6th grade?
Yeah, I lived with them from 2nd grade up until 6th grade, and then in 7th, and at the end of the 6th grade year, that's when I actually started showing up to school, because I had to make up for a lot of work. They had made me a separate curriculum, and they said, if you can finish this, you can still pass. And I was locked in. Like, when I got back to my grandma's, like, she was not having it. My grandma was very, very structured Southern woman. She was not playing no games. Like, when I was getting in trouble at school for fighting a lot when they first got me, she grounded me in like 3rd grade. And I didn't know, like in my mind, I didn't know black kids could get grounded. Like, what the fuck? Our parents want us to get the fuck outside all the time. Get out of my house and don't come back in. So I didn't think it was serious. But I had beat up 3 kids that day, and including who was my best friend. She got I like pushed her into a locker. I didn't beat her up, but I had already had 2 pink slips for sure. And what made it even what made it more interesting was that the chaperone of like the detention lived next door to me. So anytime I got in trouble at Frost, it was already at home before I got home. Getting in trouble, I accepted that shit every time. I knew what I was doing. Every time I did some shit, I knew exactly what I was doing. Because I'm already in trouble. You guys don't even know. I'm getting my ass whooped when I get home. So she told me I was grounded. Like after I'd gotten this fight with these 3 kids. And I also I had lunch detention for the rest of the year. It was January. I had already worked on that one. So I had to sit in the lunch detention room, which in the winter didn't really bother me that much. But then it got nice outside. and I'm still in here. I was like, oh, this is so fucked up. I need to stop hitting other kids.
Did you have a favorite teacher?
I'd say like I don't know. I'd say my favorite teacher I've ever had in elementary school was definitely Mr. Nees, my 6th grade teacher.
Right. You said you went to Frost. That's in Jackson, right?
Yep.
Okay.
JPS?
Yep. JPS. It's one of the at the time in the 90s, it was one of the biggest elementary schools in like the lower Michigan area. So it was like 800, 900 kids over there.
Yeah. I went to the Y on the blue buses back in the day, and I went to Concord until I was like 16. So like they would come pick us up and we go to Frost.
It's the big public school, like as far as Jackson. Well, it was. I don't know how they have it structured now. It looks really nice.
I mean, my class was like 60 people. So like they would come get us, and then we'd go to Frost to get the people going to the Y, and it was like culture shock to me. I'm like,
that's a lot of damn kids.
oh my God.
Yeah, this is a public school. Like what you think of a public school, this is a public school.
That's funny. So 7th grade then, what happened? Did you move out of your grandparents, go back to mom, or?
No, I stayed with my grandparents on from 7th grade on.
Oh,
like, there was at a time when I was a teenager, I definitely bounced between them, but we didn't get the courts involved like whatsoever. It was a whole different understanding, because when I was a kid, my grandma didn't want me over there because she knew what was going on with my mom. She knew the environment I was going into and the different things that were happening. Now, I'm not saying none of this or all of it's my mom's fault. I was just saying the life that was going on to them was just like, no, like they're old school. They've seen it already with their adult children, and they're not going for that shit whatsoever. But I just wanted to be around my family. You know what I mean? So when my mom cleaned up, she didn't have a problem with me being over there at all. That's my mom. You know what I mean? She didn't necessarily want me to all the time, like even when I was a kid, she was legally my guardian, and she told people like she wanted me to introduce people as her. She'd tell people she's my mom, everything. And I'd always be like, that's not my mom, that's my grandma, like forever, because I don't think maybe she didn't think my mom was going to pull through like that.
I got you.
And I don't know exactly what it was. I'm not saying anything bad about my grandma, but she wanted a different structure because she had seen some bullshit since she'd come up from down south. She lived in the Franklin homes back in the day. Her and my grandpa worked their asses off their whole lives, got themselves a nice place so that they could, just do better. And so they didn't want anything like that for me.
Well, it sounds like all they had was your best interest, and that's all you can ask for any adult, to have the best interest of the kid. That's all that matters, in my opinion.
Like, and same with my mother. Like when I think about even though the environment was not always stable, like my mom always tried to do her best, like.
So you had a village.
Yeah,
it takes a village for sure. I just want to touch just a little bit. Is there anything that you want to share about your father in this time of your life?
There's a few times where he got out, but he'd always go back for something or another. I didn't even know like my dad's record really at all when I was a kid. Like I just knew that you know, he goes to jail sometimes, and,
Yeah.
and he comes back out. And as I got older, because we have the same name,
Okay.
I'm the junior. As I got older, there's been times where my name gets looked up, and they see this rap sheet that's long, and like, and I have to tell them, you have to, or they like, even if it was like police officers or something, they'd have to like tell, like, look at the date. He's clearly not born in 72. Like, or, you know what I'm saying? Like, he's clearly not born in 74.
Yeah.
Like, that's not this one.
Yeah.
You know, so I learned the importance of that, man. Like, even when I tried to sign up for the military later, they looked up my name and they were like, they like huddled over. They're like, come here. I was like, oh shit, I can't even do this. But they checked the date, you know, all that goes.
Yep.
But no, I say with in 7th grade, I'd say and throughout high school, my grandma just had me doing, you know, trying to be extracurricular, you know, like she couldn't necessarily like tell me what to do in that sense of like, you know, you should try this or that, but she's always been supportive if I ever spoke up and said,
Awesome.
I want to try this or that. So, you know, I tried playing different kinds of sports, and I want to say like 5th grade, 6th grade, and 7th and 8th. I quit football every fucking year.
Okay.
Because it just didn't click with me. And then I enjoyed playing baseball, but I think martial arts really changed me in that I found something I really wanted to do with my time. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Would you say it was like the discipline of it and the routine kind of made you gravitate towards it?
I like fighting people. So that was like, no, I really I really wanted to feel like I could protect myself, because I found out, you know, through that I was really insecure.
Okay.
Like deep down, that's why I always wanted to fight people. Like the more I had learned in different disciplines and stuff, the more I realized like, yeah, I don't have to fight anybody at all. Nobody has to fight each other, if it, you know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Don't get me wrong, I can still be pretty fire tempered, but at the end of the day, I just wanted to feel like I could protect myself and the people around me.
One thing I wanted to ask about this time in your life, because I think it's overlooked a lot. I'm 28. You're how old? 30?
I'm 33.
33. Okay. I didn't know that.
No, I forget too.
So I feel like this is overlooked a lot, and if I say something wrong, stop me.
Oh, you're
But
okay.
So your dad's age and your grandparents' age, racism was everywhere. I mean, clearly, from what I hear. Your age is like when stuff starts getting a little better. I think. How was growing up being black? I guess.
I always had a mixed family. So like on my mom's side, you know, I don't think my mom like has ever been focused on anybody's color per se. So it's
Cool.
like I never felt that way. My grandparents, I don't think have ever been inherently like racist, but they come from like the South, you know,
Okay.
like so they, you know, before they, you know, and they settled here, and my dad and mom were both born either I guess my dad was born down south too. He's my grandma's oldest, but
Okay.
they're basically from Michigan, you know what I'm saying? So my grandparents that I stayed with had a very different, like, you know, they're like, be wary of white people, like, and that these things exist.
That makes sense.
Like,
I mean,
be fucking wary that he ain't gonna treat you the same.
Mhm.
But I always had white friends. I remember like my whole family roasting me one time when I was like 4 years old, because I came in, they were just drinking and chilling, but I just came in holding my friend Elizabeth's hand, the little white girl from behind our house, and like everybody just like they just started cracking up. They're like, look at this little friend, and it's super hilarious because all those dudes in that room are married to white people now.
Oh, yeah.
all married to white people.
No, I feel like I need to ask that. I feel like I needed to ask that because, like I said, I know it was so out there. I mean, you know, with our parents' age, and I don't know. I just wanted to ask. So
no, I
thank you,
think
Sarah. Thank you.
you know, racism exists in a lot of different forms.
Mhm.
Like I've traveled down south since I was a little kid because like when we go visit my grandparents' family and stuff, and I find that like in some places like it's more overt, and in other places it's more subvert. I don't think everybody's like piece of discrimination they may have is like rooted in wanting to hate, but I do know that like some people just hate shit,
Yeah.
you know, like, and they're not, that's just what they know and they don't fuck with it. Like,
Yeah.
I always said that racism down south is like that he's gonna let you know he's racist. It's
They're
just-
very
Oh, very.
upfront about it. Like,
Racism up here is like his name's Ontario, fill this job app away. Like, you know,
it's demographical, like on
Yeah.
paper, it's more statistical.
yeah, it's
systemic,
just
you know?
like, man. But I don't think everything prejudice is racist. You know, like I think people overcomplicate it. Like I would say I have to wrestle with this. I think I'm pretty ignorant when it comes to Asian people because I don't know any Asian people.
Yeah.
And sometimes you're around people that don't know shit about black people. Sometimes you're around people that don't know shit about white people.
Yeah.
I've had white and black friends and brothers since I was a kid. So I'm just like, no, that's literally my brother. Like we came out of the same pussy.
Yeah, that's my
That Cristiano, this little Aladdin looking motherfucker, that's my
blood brother.
That's my brother. Like, I will actually kill you about him. This will be the fastest fight you get in.
That's I'm happy they didn't have to deal with I'm happy they didn't have to deal with that bad, I guess, of racism. Geez, what's your favorite memory of childhood or this time that we've talked about so far?
Anytime spending with my siblings. I you know that they were like so like especially because we weren't always together. So anytime I got to spend around my little brothers, my big sister, my big sister was my first friend in my life, you know, that's your big sister, like everything, like we were inseparable,
That's cool.
you know, so anytime I got to spend with her and my siblings, we always referenced the house on Oak Hill before we got separated and different things were going on. So I don't know, I've always been super attached to them. Like, I just talked to my little brother Cristiano yesterday. We used to talk about moving to LA when I was like 15. I started talking about I didn't know shit about LA and I didn't really want to go. I was just a 15-year-old, but he remembered that shit.
Right on.
He started modeling when he was like 11 or 12. My mom just like submitted pictures of him somewhere and he was literally modeling and he got into like that and acting. Like he ended up going to Wayne State for film and when he graduated, he's like, hey, well, he's about to graduate. He's like, hey, remember when you talked about moving to LA? Do you want to really move to LA? Now I'm much older and I'm like, I think I'm like 26, 27 at the time. I was like, when do you want to go? We're talking at Christmas. And he's like, after I graduate, I want to go next year. I was like, all right, I'll be ready. And we moved out to LA. I've never even been west of the Mississippi until we drove out there.
And that's a drive.
We were on the road. We planned on being on the road for 4 days, but we did it in like 2.5 because
just switching back and forth driving
a couple times. Man, like the other one would be playing the Switch.
So, what was your favorite role? Being the younger brother or being the older brother? Because you had the best of both. Sounds like.
Yeah, I got I got a big sister, but I always liked having my little brothers. You know,
cool.
Like I guess it I have a lot of younger siblings because my dad's kids are all younger than me.
Okay.
You know, I'm his oldest, and I'm thankful that when my brothers speak to me, like I can tell that they are appreciative of me too. You know, like that there's always so much love in our conversations. And I think that's like my bond with my siblings was probably the only thing keeping me together when I was a kid.
So I'm sorry. No, I'm not sorry, but I
No,
smile
you're
a
good.
lot. A, to show you I'm listening, but
Yeah.
B, I love hearing your story. I love hearing stories. I believe stories save lives, period. I mean, stories save lives. So can you describe your childhood room where you spent most of your time?
Shoot, at my mom's house, I never had a room because we're all the boys are in the same room. And that was just a fact of life. So that it's funny going back to just real quick to me being 6 years old. I'm like, I get to have my own room. Like, it's all right. But no, man. So even though my mom had moved around a lot, my room at my grandma's was actually super plain. There's just a bed over here, a TV over here, a dresser,
Right.
and one day they got me a computer when I was 8. I like 8.5 or no, I think I don't know. Maybe I got it when I was like 9 or something. Because I begged for one. Like I begged for years for a computer. I was pitching it to them like I had a whole fucking plan. It was when I got out of 3rd grade, I was in this like LEAP program. So I was with the same fucking kids every year now, which kind of sucked. Like, a lot of these kids were doing a lot better than me. So I was like, I can do like it was always about school, you know. Crap, I forgot what you initially asked me.
Bedroom.
Yeah. So I had the computer, and when I started making drawings and like MS Paint, like illustration was probably my first love creatively. I just am like too sensitive about it to do it for people. You know what I mean? But I do drawing on my computer. I'm like, I love drawing. Not if people are looking. I don't even want to look at this. I'm throwing this away.
I tried out tattooing before, like right before COVID. Did a couple drawings. You know, it was cool. And then I'm like, COVID happened. I actually caught COVID because of that. So I'm like, no. And then also, I don't want to do drawings on people if they don't like it. Like,
oh, for sure. I'm so sensitive with this. Like, so I'm glad I found music because, like, holy crap. Like, I don't feel like sensitive about it at all. I just make the music I like.
Yeah,
that's it. I don't give a shit. Sometimes I don't like it, but it's like, fuck it. It's mine. You know, whether it's like there was a time where I was like really wanted to do illustration, and I joined this art class, and I got like 3rd place in a contest and then like 4th in a different contest. My first time being in a structured class at all, like it was against other schools. I was pissed. Yeah, exactly.
The ribbons we buy them for a minute, we send them back.
Absolutely devastated. Like, mind you, I've never had a formal art class. I just learned being on my computer. I got myself a digital pad, all types of shit. It was not acceptable. When my music's not good, I'm like, I'll just make a better song next time.
And then they did the participation ribbons. You're like,
yeah.
I know I participated, but
yeah.
You're looking for one of 3 colors.
Oh, and I can't color between the lines either. So it's just like, I give up, man.
Yeah.
I do it, but only for kids. They think I'm Superman on this shit.
What was your school experience like? High school.
It was good, man. Like around that time, I really had made like consistent friends because I noticed like with things being so volatile when I was a kid. One, I didn't even want to get along with other kids. I did not give a shit about it. Like there's a couple kids I was cool with, and if somebody didn't like me, we're fighting. I don't like, and I don't think that's cool. I'm not saying it was like a good thing. I was just very angry, and I didn't even like want to bond. So going into high school, like it was my 3rd day of conditioning for football.
Okay.
I was gonna quit again. I know I was quitting this year. What the fuck? Everybody's gotten so much better. God damn it. Like coaches were talking to y'all and telling y'all were gonna make varsity last year. So it's the 3rd day, and I'm actually gonna go. I'm gonna try. Fuck it. And I see this Taekwondo studio that was downtown at the Commonwealth Center. Okay. And I'd been eyeballing this place for like about a year now. I'm just like, do they really do shit down there? I don't fucking know, you know. But I asked my grandma. I was like, can we stop here? She was tired of me playing football anyway. She's like, what the fuck are you doing? You don't like this shit, whatever. But we did. And I actually stopped in on a belt testing. The first time I walked in there, I saw like little kids breaking boards, like literally 5-6-year-olds. And I was like, she was like, and she could see it on my face. Like she could tell. She was like, do you just want to stay here and call me? Like I'm in my football stuff. Like, I was like, yeah. So she was completely supportive of it. And it was through finding something I really wanted to do and my life becoming more stable that I started to understand team aspects and things like that.
We will touch on that in the future, but I gotta ask. So you're a badass now, then, right? So like,
what's your belt?
Yeah. How does that work? Sorry, I dumbed it down, but you're a badass.
I just really liked it. For like 3.5 years up until I was a senior. I was in Taekwondo.
Okay.
And then my senior year, when I was I thought I was going to be a Marine and decided not to. I was going to take karate downtown with one of the officers from the school.
Okay.
Because they were just like, you know, if you can, I'd go spar with them like 1 or 2 days a week, and it was super good for me. Then when I moved to Grand Rapids, I started doing kickboxing for like 6.5 months, I want to say.
Okay.
And then when I came back to Jackson, maybe like 3 years after I'm back in town and I just live here, I started doing MMA with the Spartans over. That gym doesn't exist anymore.
No,
but
I do remember. Sorry to interrupt.
Yeah,
I do remember seeing the name. Were they in center?
Yeah.
Okay.
They were over off of South Street. And
Okay.
So yeah, towards center in that regard. But it was that martial arts is just like something that like it helped me learn about my body. I always like, of course, like kids like ninjas and kung fu movies and shit like that.
Yep.
But I wanted to do that shit. Me and my brothers are always fighting and doing dumbass shit. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like that shit goes down. You know, Dragon Ball Z's out. I'm like, I want to do that. Like, I don't want to. Like, I swear to God, you won't find anybody in martial arts who just like was not a kid that's like, I want to fucking do that.
Yeah.
Like,
What was your favorite kung fu movie?
Gosh,
There's a ton of them.
I think overall, I'm gonna have to say the first Ip Man.
Yeah.
You know, like, and that's really hard because as I got older, I really don't like old school kung fu movies. When I was a kid, I loved them, but like now, like by the time Kill Bill came out, I was like, that shit fucking sucks.
Yeah.
I like the cheesy ones, like Kung Fu Hustle.
Kung Fu Hustle is awesome.
Absolutely my favorite.
We're not talking about the icons. But like, it's just, I really wanted to see things like that in a different way. You know, I didn't see the entertainment value in it. So, yeah, I wouldn't say I'm a badass. I think, like I said, a lot of my self-confidence got built just going to this gym every day with different people. At first, I was in the kids class, but not even a year and a half later, I was 14. And so now I can be in the adult class. Like, when I was 15, I started doing instructions, and I want to say 15. Yeah, when I came back from Germany, fucking
Germany,
foreign exchange student.
No shit.
No, you're good.
Cool, dude.
You're good.
Fucking
You're
cool.
good, bro. It was fucking life changing.
Man.
Do you speak German, sprechen Deutsch?
I missed it. I noticed I lost all that shit. It's like I learned more in Germany for a short time than I learned in the 4 years I was taking it since middle school. You know, but since I don't speak it, I'd have to like refresh on materials at best, you know. But I recognize shit. I'm like, oh man, that's funny.
Yeah.
Wow, that's
But yeah, no, I was gonna say, my bad.
No,
I was
you're
gonna
good,
say
you're
that
good.
I was because I was doing some instructions. I wasn't like the only person doing instructions.
Okay.
One of my teachers, when I was in 11th grade, started coming with his son. So like I'd have this teacher at the end of the day, and then he'd come to the gym after I was done. I don't think I worked as a tutor anymore yet.
Mm-hmm.
So it was really cool. Like he was a super nice guy, but I just remember the irony, like, and now I teach you because I'm a fucking kid.
It's so cool to me to hear a rough upbringing, and I'm just gonna say you're educated, disciplined, and athletic. Just by your story, I can say that educated because you were a tutor, went to Germany. I mean, there's education there, and then disciplined because of the stuff you've done, like MMA and whatnot, and then athletic. I mean, that's.
I don't know about athletic anymore.
Lived through a lot of things and experienced a lot of things that not a lot of people get to.
And I make sure that I drop the compliments that I feel because, like,
Recognition.
yes, well, yeah, you have to recognize people, and those three things are things I believe a lot of people should strive for. Because if you're good to your mind and you're good to your body, the rest almost falls.
I firmly believe that. That's why it's so, it's the juxtaposition of like when I started to get out of all that things, it totally parallels with starting to abuse my body.
Yeah.
Like even I'd say even in life now, when I'm stagnant in something, I'm probably not doing something right for myself.
Understood. So before we go on to, I say little segments, they're not segments,
you're
but
good,
before we go to the next part of your story, was there ever any trouble in school, like suspensions or expulsions? And what was your favorite subject in high school or whatever?
Yeah. Yeah, I got hella suspensions.
Fair
And
enough.
I was in detention a lot. And like as a kid in high school, I was not, because like around like 5th or 6th grade, no, it was literally 4th grade actually. I'd gotten in trouble again. And me and my grandma had a conversation when we were coming back to her house. And she said, like up until this point, I would periodically have to talk to people, and they would ask me how are things going at my grandma's. People working for the state,
I got you.
you know, and because they're seeing I'm getting in trouble in school and I'm doing a lot of bullshit.
So thinking it might be from your home. I see. Okay.
And I never said anything to them. But when my grandma told me, she's like, you know, if you keep acting like this, you won't be able to stay with us anymore. And that sunk on me hard as fuck, like as a kid. So I stopped being an antagonist by a lot, you know. I stopped replying to shit with just straight up violence. And so by the time I was in high school, I think I got a couple of suspensions, but it was usually for skipping school, you know, or just whatever. I got in a bunch of fights, but I was smart enough to just not do it. Like not do it right in fucking school. Like, you're serious? I'll see your ass later. Like, we're meeting up places to catch and fade, bro. I will see your ass at the park.
Well, it sounds like your grandma have knowledge that I feel like a lot of people should know. Who's talking to your kids? That's all you do, man, and it's like it seems like it fixed a lot.
Just be keeping it real. I'm like, my siblings are everything. So if I can't be with you and I won't be able to see them, then I can't. Like, I think I only got into one more fight at Frost the very next year. I shattered this kid's nose in the punch line. And
did he ever come in?
Oh, fuck yeah. My mom had bought me this lime green jacket. Things are not good at my mom's, and I'm self-aware of that now. You know what I'm saying? He put his hands on, he cut me in line, and then I was like, you can't do that. Like, he just flat out, you can't do that. And he grabbed me up by my shirt, like real old school bully style.
Oh, shit.
And he was like, what are you going to do? Because I'm not a tall person now. I was a pretty short kid, too. I was like, I'm going to count to 5. I counted to 3 and I bent his nose sideways. Like, I jumped up and punched him. Like, it was just, this is some Smash Brothers shit. And I had him leaking. He was fucking bleeding all over the lunchroom floor. And one of my friends came out of nowhere. Actually, we weren't even tight. He gets to the fights too. He's like, bro, you gotta get him out of here. And I'm like, I'm not leaving at all. He started it. And the principals fucking, you know, they came and got me, and I'm in the office. And my grandma's in the office, and the detention chaperone that lives next door to us walks into the room and tells them both that I've been amazing this year. I haven't started any fights. I just finished one. That was the exact words. The kid in the hallway heard it. My grandma just looked at me. She was not pleased with that. She's like, why do you have to hype him up? Like, why'd you have to? She was not happy. She's like, what you laughing at?
Not the grandma.
But besides that, I tried not to do it at school.
Fair enough. Hey, fair enough. What was your because later on we would get into you going to college. What was your favorite subject in high school?
Oh yeah, shoot. I think in high school my favorite subject was probably. I'm really good at math. I don't fucking like math. Like, my favorite subject was lifting. What the fuck? That shit was like, when I really think about it, man, I don't know. I've always been a strong reader, and because I read a lot of video game text, you know, that's what I really think about. I didn't have a bunch of books when I was a kid, but I had some grown ass video games that you got to read to play.
So one last part about this part of your childhood. Who was the person who had the most influence on you up until the end of high school?
I would say, I don't know, my grandpa, because like there came a time like my grandpa, he was not able to use the left side of his body. Like by the time all that stuff happened when I was younger, like we took care of him. You know, my grandma did everything. She got him a hospital bed when he helped him rehabilitate at home. Like that's the purest love I've ever seen in my life.
Lady,
Yeah, my grandma's a stellar woman. Oh, she can be ruthless though.
Normally,
she's a woman from Mississippi.
Well,
Don't ever
I'll
get
have to agree, like a woman's sword.
I was just gonna say, normally women that are that nice and loving and caring also can be the
she,
hardest women.
She don't play no games.
Yeah.
When I got grounded, I came home and there was nothing in my room. There was a bed on the floor, the computer was gone, the TV was gone. She found some desk in the garage, so that's there. She had this is not from that fight in 5th grade, when I beat up those kids in 3rd grade, and she had gotten all the textbooks from the school copies, and she's like, "You're about to do this shit for a month." and I was like, "Do what?" Like, I'm a smart ass little kid. Do what? Like I was like, "There's no work in here." Like in the math book, she's like, "You can make your own fucking math problems." And she meant that shit. I did that shit every day for hours a day.
Damn.
For a month and a half, I was literally forced to read my textbooks, even though we just did this shit at school.
Read it again.
Grandma did not give a fuck about any of that shit. She didn't even believe the school anymore. Like, she believed the school. She didn't believe anything I had to say. It didn't matter if it contradicted reality. That's fuck that. Read the shit out of some textbooks.
Where did you graduate from? Jackson High?
Yeah.
Okay, right
yeah,
on. Right
yeah.
on. Well, how big was your graduating class?
Was it like 600 and
Holy
like
shit.
20 something?
Golly.
Yeah.
See, I moved from Fowlerville, and I didn't graduate from there, but our graduating class would have been like 800. Like, the school's fucking huge. You take Jay High and put two of them together, and that Fowlerville, it's huge.
Like Pioneer.
Yeah, dude. It's a university, really.
Yeah.
It's not, but it's as big as one. And then I moved here. I moved to East Jackson, and I'm like,
She's like, "Where is everybody?"
Trouble in a small school, I'll say that.
Yeah. But okay, so graduated about 600 people. Man, congratulations for graduating. A lot of people don't, so really,
thank you, bro. One of my little brothers just got his GED. I'm super proud of him, man.
Hey, dude, you need a GED or a high school diploma. The rest of it,
Absolutely,
that's all you need, though. One of those two pieces.
Man, you gotta get down. It's gonna hold you back, you know.
Well, nowadays a GED is just as good, really.
For sure.
I mean, you know, like maybe back then, maybe back then you needed a high school diploma for certain jobs, but nowadays. Hell, I mean, nowadays you don't probably even really need either for some jobs.
Yeah, no, but I absolutely know what you're saying. Like before, definitely people would probably like different occupations would totally snub away at it. Like now, it's like no, that's the same thing.
Yeah, it might even be a little harder.
Yeah,
like you're out of school.
You have to digest that shit on your own.
Yeah,
absolutely.
That's probably more difficult to get a GED. So congratulations to him too. Really. Were you always interested in music?
I wanted to play music. Like I think every kid wanted to be a rock star or something at one point, you know, or a singer. Like I definitely admired them, and I felt like I had music, but I was way too like shy to express that part of myself around people for a long time. So like, I'd say around 6th grade is when they were starting to offer. They were letting us know you could take band or this or that, like as a class at school, not after school. And I was like, oh, okay. And I talked to the band teacher who was actually there visiting our school, and he's like, "What would you play?" And I was like, "Can I play the ocarina?" Because I was a big Zelda fan. I no idea what we're doing in band. I was just like, "Can I play the ocarina here?" He's like, "You can play flute, like it's like the same."
What's this called?
He's trying to recruit for the band. The funniest look on his face ever. He's like, "What the fuck did this kid say?" He's just confused. He's a jazz band teacher. He's like, ocarina. Like, why do you?
I play a mean cowbell.
I just wanted to. I was like, I loved the Legend of Zelda a lot as a kid, so it had to.
Our cats' names are Zelda and Lincoln.
So. Yeah, that's awesome.
So thank you for saying that. You didn't do it on purpose, but that gives me perfect time to backtrack because I missed the question. Was your high school experience normal in the terms of homecoming, prom, and stuff of that nature, or did you miss some of those? Or
yeah, I think I went to a couple homecomings when I was like, freshman and sophomore. By the time I was a junior in high school, I didn't give a shit about those things. Gotcha. I hosted like our junior prom. I hosted an after party. I didn't go
Fair
to
enough.
prom. Like it's over here tonight, everybody.
Fuck, man,
But I don't know. Like I think my high school experience was just like pretty. It was pretty tame until I was about 15, and like when I lost my best friend at the time. He had passed like at school, and that's when I just started going off the rails.
Gotcha.
Like and doing whatever I wanted to, and like nobody. Like my grandmother, my mom, it didn't matter who said anything to me. I was just doing whatever I wanted to.
Right on.
And it's pretty scary to think about that now,
The reason I ask that particular question, and because I like relating, not comparing, but to relate, that is my biggest regret in life, which is crazy, but my biggest regret is I did not go to prom or homecoming or nothing. Out of everything I've done, every fuck up I've had, that is my biggest regret. So I ask all my guests.
Hey man, no, because it's like, I don't really think about that. Like when I was a senior, actually, I had this friend in third grade, the one that that was the seal on the deal. You just pushed your friend into the locker too, like you're already in trouble.
Yeah.
Her name was Chelsea, and that was like my best friend at that age.
Mm-hmm.
And she moved the next year after we had both gotten into league, and we lost touch after another year. So we used to be on the phone and stuff. We lost touch. I got a hold of her my senior year in high school, and I went to her prom.
Nice.
I didn't go to my prom.
Okay.
I went to prom with my best friend, and it was so I'm glad I did that. I probably wouldn't give a shit about mine, but I just didn't care at the time.
Yeah.
But I went to prom with my childhood friend, and that was fucking sweet. I didn't really give a shit about that's how I know a big pioneer is, because that's where she went. And their prom was fucking laid.
Yeah.
Didn't give a shit about any of that. I'm here with the friend I used to trade Pokemon with. And she's hot. What the fuck? I was like, your hair's still nappy to me. I don't give a fuck about any of that.
I gotta ask real quick. Has anybody ever told you that you look like Lil Wayne?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, it's cool. It doesn't bother me.
But we kind of look down or something. I'm like, that motherfucker looks just like off the Carter. They're like I don't know why I see his face on the album. I'm like, Jesus Christ, I don't know.
Big influence, man. I love Lil Wayne.
Right on. No, it's something with the glasses, the hair, and I don't know.
It's good, bro.
I've seen it. So
I get Lil Wayne. I've gotten Kendrick. I've gotten Lil Uzi. A bunch from younger people,
right on,
which is hilarious. Yeah. I'm like, as long as keep talking about rich people. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. No, but really, it's the face structure and everything. It's like I'm like, fuck.
I've just seen this video with a bunch of kids. It's from a TV show, I think, but they were talking about how a Millie is a classic. It's classic.
Millie is not
Abbott Elementary.
Yes.
I just started watching that like a month ago, man. These kids are hilarious, bro.
Like, being a classic, like that's a classic.
They're like, they said another song. They're like, you talking about the oldies or something?
I think it was like Rihanna. It was like Umbrella or something. I was like, oh.
I was like, they're going in right now.
Yeah, that's hurt.
That's funny.
So, man, well, so you were in LEAP as well. That sounds like you. So it still goes back. I think you're educated. But what came after school? Any jobs? Did you pursue your music career or jail? I'm just curious.
Did you go straight into college?
When I decided to not go in the Marines,
Do you want to touch on that real quick? I apologize. Do you want to touch on?
Yeah, briefly, because I really don't have like a real experience. Like when I was, I want to say, a senior in high school, it really dawned on me that everybody has a plan after high school. Yep. I do not. Like I have not thought this far whatsoever. Mm-hmm. I'm having way too much fun. I just went to the first thing that I was in the mall, like at the crossing, and I just walked in. I'm like, I'm gonna do this. Yep. I was just thinking of a way to get out of Jackson and go do something. And then as I was in there for a while, or as I was in the delayed entry program, it was really just a lot of working out and making sure we're not getting high and just making sure you can pass. What is it?
Like PT or something?
Yeah, make sure you can pass PT and shit. And at this time, I was super athletic, so I loved it. I was still in martial arts, and now I can go to the Y and lift and shit. Like I'm having a good fucking time. Yeah. But no, I really, when I decided not to go, I just ended up shooting to Grand Rapids because the girl I was dating lived there. I really it didn't matter where I was going. I was like, I can just go to college, right? So I was like, yeah, you could just fucking go.
Put it up.
You can change it. Right? You can qualify for other things. You go, you're like, maybe I want that. What can I keep? That goes towards this.
absolutely. I just wanted to go somewhere. So I was in Grand Rapids Community College for about, I mean, I was technically enrolled for maybe a year and a half, but I think I stopped going to class after like my first year.
Right.
Yeah, I was just way unfocused on it. I was not taking advantage of any of the resources. Didn't even really give a fuck about it. Wasn't taking care of myself. You know what I mean? I was, just getting high and getting drunk every fucking day. So I ended up obviously dropping out of that or just defaulting out of it. And I moved back to Jackson for a few years. Like I think my first job, I was actually working at a church like when I was 14. That's part of how I went to Germany. Like I paid for half of my trip to go.
Nice.
So, and then my next job after that was like kind of during it. It was teaching at Taekwondo. I did that, and then when I graduated, I worked at Cutco. I've worked at a bunch of different like jobs, but I don't think any of them have been like necessarily oriented towards what I really want to do. You know, in any grand scheme of things, like I just entry level stuff besides like opportunities I've made for myself. You know, I guess I just haven't. I don't qualify to work at places for the things I want to do. You know, which is why I gotta go. Like even if I'm better at it, then you know what I'm saying. I see people's websites, I see their advertisements, and I'm like, I could do that better. I know I can do that.
Yeah, but that's always something you can like make a case for yourself. Like, hey, I do not have the education that you are requiring, but I do have the skills and the lived experience to do so.
Exactly. That's what I mean. Like only the opportunities I've made for myself, like just through if it's me doing it freelance or like I've worked for a couple technology companies doing their video editing, just making tutorials. Like it's but my real passion is I want to help people. At first, I wanted to go into medicine. I wanted to be a biological engineer and build prosthetics. You know what I'm saying? But I realized that I was just taking on this idea because I was trying to like save something in me. You know what I'm saying? And it wasn't actually something I was passionate about, like deeply want to do this all the time, which is why now I'd really like to have my own marketing company so I could help people get their shit somewhere. Like you know what I'm saying, do this, like make commercials for people and make videos for people, help people modernize their interfaces and stuff like that. And I think that's really something I'd want to do. You know,
well, whenever you get good or get that going, I know a guy that can help. That needs help with that. But so there's something unique about your story that I haven't noticed. Normally I go through what it was like, what happened, and what it's like now. There's a lot of success sprinkled throughout your story, so that's why I've stayed in that part.
I don't think we even really asked, but do you know, like, where do you consider the start of your story? Is it childhood? Is it after high school? Like, where does it start for you when you think about it?
I definitely think it starts like really when me and my siblings got separated. That's when that became a very like stark realizing moment, you know, like I felt like I had to be a lot more aware of things going on. Once I became aware of that, you know, maybe not at 6, but like I'm really seeing the changes that are going on and it's happening really fast. So I think everything really roots back to like when me and my siblings talk about the good old days, we're talking about being at that house. You know what I'm saying? So I think everything really started for me there.
Gotcha. No, that's just really cool to me because normally, you know, going through a lot of these podcasts, and nothing because everybody's story is different, but I'm going through and it's like, I've just noticed we've stayed longer in that part. And it's like, and I'm just thinking in my head over here, I'm like, there's a lot of success sprinkled in there, going to college, going to job. Like, there's a lot of cool shit too. And along with the trauma and the bad, was a lot of good there.
Yeah.
It sounds like it.
You know, like I was really fortunate just to have people like my grandparents, like my pastor. I went to church with my grandma every time I was over there. Like, so when I lived with them, not negotiable. Yeah. You go to church. Yeah. You're also in Sunday school and you're a fucking usher and you're gonna be like this, you're doing all that shit. You can fuck off every day, but Sunday your ass is mine. Yeah.
Well, so perfect. So now this part of your story. So you go to Grand Rapids after a year in college. So what? I guess what I'm trying to say or get to your music career is what I know you for anyways, and what I see a lot on Facebook. But so after Grand Rapids, you go there for a year. You drop out of college, drop out, is that the right word?
Yeah,
Okay.
for sure.
So what comes after that? And but also I wanted to ask, was there any problem with addiction anywhere in your story or in this time in your life?
Yeah, I'd say after Anthony is when I really started experimenting with drugs after my friend passed away.
Can we because I feel like I skimmed right over that.
No, you're okay. I
Can we
forgot
touch
to.
on that just a little bit, like what happened and when did this happen?
I'd say it really, I wouldn't call weed a gateway drug in and of itself because I already wanted to drink and I already wanted to try some lean and I already wanted to, I've smoked weed before when I was like 9, but like I didn't go crazy or nothing, like it's just something you do in the summer when you're a badass little kid and you get a hold of some shit.
You're like, wow.
Just a badass kid.
Yeah.
Like got older cousins, you know what I mean? Like who were also badass kids. So, but I think it really started when I just started partying in high school, because I really didn't party and do like I went to a couple school dances, but after Anthony passed away, I really started partying and hanging out and like just abusing whatever was in front of me because I didn't really care, like I wasn't gonna look up what ecstasy does. My friends are loving it. I'm about to do this right now. Like, yeah, this is just fine, like we sip lean now, so it's like I don't know if I necessarily struggled with being addicted, but when I think about addiction now, like it definitely was something I was looking forward to, and I was breeding that dopamine to look forward to the next party, or even like me getting even like sex, you know what I'm saying? Like now I'm looking forward to it. Now it's the only thing I'm thinking about. Like sex addiction, I think I've struggled with that too. You know what I'm saying? So I think it's just I think that actually, the addictions feed each other in different ways.
Oh, one feeds off another for sure. But
yeah, absolutely. So just being exposed to different things and finding out, well, I like that. I don't like that. Like, and just doing it every weekend or every time we could, is it didn't really dawn on me that there was a lot of us that were partying all the time, and there was a lot of people who weren't partying at all, like, and a lot of us that partied that definitely faced some sort of addiction or another. I think about that
for sure. So yeah, man, that's is there any point of this time that you would like to share? Stories, just anything.
You wanted to ask me about some music stuff, like so I played flute when I was in middle school, and I was really good at it. Like I didn't know I was good at it because I never played a fucking instrument. So after I started getting it, I became first chair, and I'm just like thinking, like I got my cousin's flute that he gave me that got donated to him in juvie, and that's where like my flute's old and it's used. But like I kept it clean and so on and so forth. And now I'm finding out I'm good at an instrument. So I want to play another instrument. I'm like, I want to try something else. I want to try trumpet. That looks cooler. Why am I sitting next to these girls? Like, I want to sit over there with Tony, and you know what I'm saying? So me and my band teacher had contention because I wanted to play trumpet. And I ended up quitting school band and started to get a drum set at when I was like 13 and a half, 14, and playing in the garage with my brothers who were picking up guitar and bass. My stepbrother was on guitar, Cristiano was on bass, I'm drumming. But I only stuck with that for like a year. I think I always wanted to do vocals, bro. I always wanted to be in some sort of band or music thing, like especially after you started. Like when I was a teenager, like my friends were already playing in bands and doing shows, I'm like, I just saw this kid at school. That's a freshman. Like he's fucking dope. You know what I mean? Like what the fuck? So I think that had a big impression on me, like wanting to not be afraid to put my own music out there. But at the time, I still like, there's a lot of people in my family that had already made music. And then like, and I don't mean just rap, like I mean like R&B singers and just people who I admired a lot. And I just didn't embrace that side of myself until I was well into my 20s. Like I wanted to say up until then I may have written some stuff and I may have shown a friend, Or like one of my little brothers one of my brothers, Marcus, is a composer. Like we're related through half siblings, so we call each other brother. You know what I mean? But he's been around me making music since we were kids. Like he was mowing lawns to buy his first guitar and mowing lawns to get and doing the newspaper route so he could get a keyboard. Like Marcus has been on it since we were kids. So I've always been like a little bit intimidated, but he's always encouraged me so much. And then there was other like just different people who were cool that like I might show them something I wrote and they would encourage. I'm thinking they're gonna clown me. They would encourage me. It's like, you should do that, bro.
Oh yeah.
So around I want to say when my grandpa passed, I think I was like 24. I think oh yeah. No, absolutely, bro. Thank you.
Of course.
Maybe like I don't know. It was 2013. So maybe I don't know. But yeah, that's when I had already had a laptop I had bought off Craigslist, and I got a microphone from Amazon.
Really showing the time frame you're buying it off of Craigslist.
Yeah, absolutely. I bought a 7.5-year-old MacBook off of Craigslist. The only thing it had no space, nothing was compatible, like updating it, but it had GarageBand already on.
Yep. Which a lot of people use. Like Suicide Boys did that. That's how they did it.
Lil Wayne did that. I knew that. You know what I'm saying? Now I'm older. I'm like, Lil Wayne did that with a couple mixtapes that like are iconic to me. So I'm like, yeah, I can start. You know what I'm saying? I can do something. So I made like 2 songs afterward. And then when my grandpa passed, that was a big way for me to cope, is to just like make music in my basement.
Oh yeah.
That was like me wrestling with the things like the fact that I've never said everything how I feel the way I want to. Like I want to make fucking music. I got things to talk about.
Awesome.
And I just let it go then because I didn't care. I was like, I'm rapping all the fucking time now. I'm making songs in my basement. I'm sending them to people. Most people don't like it. It's whatever. Like, I was still discovering how it works because I'm also mixing myself. I have no experience in any of that shit.
Right on.
It's my very first mixtape. It's called The Prologue, and it's entirely mixed by me. And it sounds like shit sonically. And it sounds terrible, but I started somewhere, and over time I met up with more people doing the same thing I was.
Awesome. So we talked just a little bit briefly before. I am interested which route, I don't know how to word it. So this is Stories of Success, right? So the Prisoner Painted podcast, Story of Success. So you said you've been to college a couple times, but you also write music, and I've seen you perform live. I haven't seen you, but I see you have performed live. Which route are you going to take to become successful? Are you going to keep following the music career, or do you think you're going to go to college?
I don't believe in doing one thing.
Okay.
I don't know. I used to always think about that shit when I was a kid. Like, like why do we say we have to do this or that? And then as I'm getting older, I'm realizing like really successful people are doing whatever the fuck they can. You have to. Like, and when you get around other strong creatives, you'll be like, oh yeah, like somebody just said to me the other day, it's so weird being your own cameraman and editor, this and that. I'm like, now, like, if nothing else, it'll make you appreciate it. So then when you go to work with other people, like, I don't mix myself. I haven't mixed myself since that fucking tape. Are you shitting me? I would never do that to myself. I might consider learning how to mix. I don't know. I know too many good people who are good at it, and I'd much rather go to them, and I can focus on making the music.
Yeah.
So I think the biggest thing that's going to be successful for me is time management and being efficient, because I don't plan on stopping making music because I just make music because it feels good. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I definitely see myself getting more success just creating my own business, trying to get into marketing. I think it's going to be successful to me, but honestly, I don't know if I necessarily am looking for some grand material wealth. I just want, like a little family in a not too big house.
Understood.
You know what I mean?
Oh,
a dog, the things that may have been successful for me when I was younger, like don't really mean shit to me anymore.
Understood. How was your first live performance?
Shit.
And when? How and when?
I think my first live performance as a rapper was at American Trash Studios, which was actually me and my friend Kyle's and it was Kyle's first business, and he brought me in on it.
Okay.
Yeah. And so we actually had an art gallery in the front, and his wife too, Erica. She's fucking awesome. But this is my best friend after Anthony passed. Me and Kyle started kicking it, and he's been a musician my whole life and always experimented with people who made music. So I was able to be around like that was I think I went to my first couple of shows with him and Starlet, who stayed in school band because she's not an asshole of a kid. So she became one of my close friends. So she was already going to where the music was happening too, like the Thunderbird or like the pits, that the different little venues people were popping up. And fuck, I forgot the direct question.
How was your first live performance?
Oh yeah. That was actually that was at our studio. Because it was like our thing, and it was I want to say like September 2014 or 15. I was so nervous that I had to change hands with the microphone several times.
Like what? And
no shaking.
Okay.
I had only a handful of people, even up to that point where I was performing, even knew I made music. Like I mean, it was not a lot of folks like that just didn't already know me like growing up or something. So I think that was jarring. Like just even when my friends listened to me rap, I was like fucking shaking. You know? But after during that performance, I did a song that I had only recently wrote, and somebody asked me, or this girl was crying that I invited like fucking high school friend of like my first like serious high school girlfriend or second one. I don't know. I'd say it was my second one, whatever. But and they had passed after high school, you know. And that was like her best friend. And I had wrote some bars like about that situation, and like she had left, and I was like, damn, like I was thinking about that afterwards, and I was like, fuck, should I have not done that, you know? And she actually like came up and gave me like a big hug when I went outside to talk to her and shit. And she was like, that was so fucking cool. Like, and that's probably where I started to get my confidence, because I like had never had a reaction like that off of me trying to rap. You know what I'm saying? Like that meant more to me than like the crowd reaction. Actually, a lot of the time, most of the time, I do not perform with my glasses on because I don't even want to fucking look at y'all. I can't see shit. Don't let anything fool you. If you think I was looking at you, you're fucking stupid. I can't see nothing. And if I can't see you too well, I'm looking at the tops of your head. I'll get distraction by people's expressions.
Yes.
You know, I can't do it. I'm looking at the top of your heads, or fucking we're blind.
Fair enough.
We're blind as hell.
How many live performances have you done? And yeah, that's the question. How many live performances have you done?
I'd say a few hundred at least. Like,
damn. Fuck, I didn't know you've done it for that long. That's fucking awesome, dude.
Like, because a lot of them, like a lot of my first ones were at our venue. Like, yeah, this was an art gallery in the front, and we do shows like during the day with bands and shit. And like through that, I was able to network my earlier rap stuff like really well, you know, with people from different parts of the state, even out of state and shit that we connected with, that Kyle or Barry had reached out to and got performed there. And so then I'm like, well, I'm seeing it now. Like, this is like how people get shows, you know, like straight up. So I started doing that. I started going to Lansing and Ann Arbor, and I started going to people's shows just to fucking talk to people. I don't know who the fuck's playing. Are you here to see? Absolutely.
Yeah,
bro.
sure. Yeah.
Like, I'm like, bro, I'm sending emails to venues pretending that I'm my own manager, so it sounds more professional.
I've heard to do that and say you're media. Like, if you want like to be able to go to a place to like check it out, you can say, "Hey, I'm media," and then as long as you're doing media, like documentation, videos, whatever, you're good.
You look legit.
Yeah.
Go on in. Like, but yeah, no, that was like I just started just whoever would give us a show, and then I realized through when I left American Trash, because it wasn't because it was like bad for me. I learned what I needed to so I could focus more on being the artist, and I think that's also like what I seek when I'm making, like I'm working with teams of people, because I've tried a lot of different things that make me capable, like graphic design and making videos and like you know what I'm saying? I've tried things, so I know a little bit more. I've tried mixing myself, so I know how to the verbiage, I know the lingo, I know what I'm looking for, and I know who I can trust, what makes sense, and then just applying that to getting shows and just trying to talk to people. I've done shows all throughout Lower Michigan. I performed in Pittsburgh twice.
Cool.
And I was supposed to perform in LA a couple times, but I was not taking care of business.
Understood.
Yeah.
What's your favorite song, and what's the biggest venue you've ever performed?
My favorite song, I would say, my overall favorite song that I've made might be, I don't fucking know.
Hey.
The biggest venue I performed at was actually one of B Pat's events. He had this oh, it was fucked up.
I know he had a lot of
No. Let me tell you, it's not fucked up because of him.
Oh,
it's fucked up because I was in the studio. Like I've met B Pat, I know him, and like I've always wanted to go to one of his events, but I was like, I just never made time to do it. And I'm with Dre and my homeboy Dallas, who's also part of our collective at this point. Now I'm Letters from Dead Rappers. It's a rap collective. We're making really very pre-Suicide Boy shit. Like it was just funny because like music was just moving that way.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? When people like say like, oh, you sound like this. I'm like, I remember when we were looking at them on SoundCloud because like they were only on SoundCloud.
The phone thing where people would rap into like a cord phone and it sounded all grainy and gritty.
Yeah,
and
bro.
That dark noise.
It was just dope as fuck. So like just applying that to Letters from Dead Rappers and just like now I'm just booking for us. Like I don't have to worry about my mixing because I got Dre. We're both capable of making our own flyers and merch material. I really played the role of getting us out there, and Dre made sure we sound good.
Good shit.
You know.
Heck yeah.
And that got me a shitload of shows. I performed with fucking bands, metal, and my buddy's like jazz band. He was like in fucking he was in a jazz studies major at MSU, which like at this time I'm like, bro, like he's like, because we know each other outside of that shit. He was just years before that, he was just this 18-year-old dude, complete douchebag. He was like the youngest one out of everybody, but he was
What does he play? Is he trumpet?
He plays a few instruments. No, but he mainly plays guitar, and he can sing his ass
like jazz guitar. Okay.
No, he can play lots of genres. This kid is the fucking truth. He's a complete douchebag when he's 18. Like just complete like we make fun of JP to his face all the time.
I've heard that instruments are kind of like zodiac signs for some people. Like
oh, JP's the guitar guy.
Okay.
He's Justin Timberlake and insane. You think of the guitar guy, that's JP. Like
at the Rose.
But I was like, this kid's really in fucking jazz studies. Like, you have to apply to be in jazz studies major. You can't just like fucking join that band at Michigan State.
Yeah.
So he's doing shows up there to get some extra money. He's like, hey, come up here and like a lot of this when they're doing like frats and different events. A lot of times they're just doing covers. Like they're not doing their OG work and getting paid in these places a lot of the time. So because that's what people want to hear at parties. They want to hear songs they already know for the most part. Yeah. But anyway, they would just extend the beats of shit, and I'd rap over it, or I'd just throw some like random little vocal like ad libs and shit behind shit he's doing, just random songs. That's actually when I worked on my freestyling the most, working with JP. The biggest venue was the B Pat event because I told Dre and Dallas that, all right, if y'all not doing shit, y'all want to go? You know, I'm like, y'all want to go? He's like, hey, nah, but if you're going, you should see if you can perform. I'm like, no, because I already know B Pat already gets shit booked before he does it. I fucking hated when people tried to hop on my shit on the day of when I was doing American Trash. Absolutely fucking not. And Dallas is like, man, you should at least bring him a CD, or bring him a CD or some shit like that. And I'm like, no, I'm not going there to dick eat. Like, and I just wasn't hearing it. They were just being genuine. Like, they were just like excited that I was going. They didn't fucking want to go, but they were excited that I wanted to check it out. Yeah. So I get there. I'm like, I know it's a big event. I'm not gonna be bothering B Pat because, like, you know, I'm just not coming here to be weird. I'm gonna have a good time. B Pat sitting next to his security, fucking daps me up. He's like, "What's up, bro?" He's so excited that I came here. Okay. I'm like, I just told Dre in Dallas that I'm probably not even going to talk to people.
Yeah, here you are.
He's like, did you bring any music with you? I just told Dallas that I'm not going to fucking bring music.
Man.
And then he's like, bro, you want to freestyle? So then he gets me at the top of the bar.
Yeah.
I was like, I just told Dre that I'm not going to perform. I'm the asshole of the day, bro.
Yeah, no shit.
I was wrong about
Man.
all of those things.
That's awesome though, man. So that's awesome hearing where you came from to where you're at now. We're getting close to the end, so there's a couple things that I want to
Yeah, for
ask.
sure.
Who was your biggest supporter and who was your biggest influence for the music career, or where you're going?
I think the biggest supporter I've ever had in music has to be my brother Marcus.
Awesome.
Yeah, the one, like I said, we're not actually directly blood related, but we have half siblings that are. But watching Marcus and he's had his own like music groups in high school that he was working with our other friends. You know, they were all like doing it, and like he's always encouraged me to like, you should be on this, and I'm like, that sounds cool. I'm not doing it.
Yeah.
I'm like, that sounds. I'm gonna write something to that. Like, I'm not at all. And never did he ever stop being that way. Like
Awesome.
when I started, before I even ever recorded, like I was writing, and then when I started writing, I was writing on the back of my time slips and receipts at fucking work in my car, just like listening to beats and shit. And even when I called him then, he was already like working on his getting close to finishing his bachelor's and stuff in music, you know. And if you want to talk to him then, he's like, that sounds fire. Like all the time, always been such a positive person to be around musically. So I would say without a doubt, he's probably my biggest supporter. I think my biggest influence sonically would probably be who would be my biggest influence, and I don't know because Quincy Jones.
Okay.
Yeah, because of something he said when I was early on to making music. I read an article where he was like having a 3/4 life crisis on GQ, and I was like, he's talking about what? I'm about to read this shit. Yeah. Because it's Quincy fucking Jones.
Well, I wasn't expecting that either.
Yeah, I was like, what the fuck? Like, oh man, he's up there tripping. Let's hear it. But he said something that stuck out to me when he said he was making music in like the 50s or 60s, and like he's making some really good fucking money, and he focused on making this next project with this next artist he worked with something that the people will like, even if he didn't necessarily like the direction it was going. Okay. And he says, not only did the people not like it, I didn't like it either. And I was out. Like, I was so mad. I've never, ever made something I don't like ever again. Yeah. And that was probably the most influential thing I've ever heard about making music. Like, he's like, if you just try to, in anything you do, if you just try to appeal to people, like while sacrificing your own integrity in something, if they don't like it, now you're both out. Yeah. Just do it for you. That is the most important thing, because you don't everybody's not gonna like it. Whatever, like, you know what I mean? Don't get me wrong. Like, nobody wants to hear bad reviews. Like, I've woken up and like had people spam my messages on different platforms, or not messages, my comments on different platforms, just saying mean shit. Doesn't bother me. I don't give a shit. I like what I made. This is fucking badass. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I think that single thing I read was probably the biggest influence for me.
Right on. So you're going to keep up with the music career, it sounds like. You said you're probably going to do the marketing.
Yeah.
So what's next, and what's your definition of success? And that's my last wrap-up question.
I think the next thing for me, because I don't have any children and I'm also not in any like serious relationships, so I think the very next thing for me is getting more traveling in. Like, my passport is expired, and I think about that. I'm like, man, like, passport's right there. I almost caught a case a few years ago, and I didn't. So it made it so I didn't have a felony on my record. Okay. And that was a big deal, because I was fighting that fucker for like 1.5 years, almost 2 years, in secret. Like, nobody fucking knew it except like my immediate family and people I might be dating. Okay. And when I realized that I was constantly looking up all the shit that I like won't be able to do. And I think about all the shit that my dad couldn't do before he got his life, or like when he first got out and was trying to do the best.
Yep.
But because of the shit on his record, there was so many things he couldn't do anymore. I think about that shit a lot. I got a fuckload of misdemeanors, but just not having an active felony. And there's been too many times where I probably should have got one. You know, like, so I think the very next thing for me is traveling. Sorry. Just in general, if I can, I was looking up trying to teach English in other countries and shit.
Oh yeah.
Because I'm like, I can get my passport renewed. And I mean, this, like, the classes range from like 300 to 1200, but I'm thinking about this shit because I'm probably going to do my marketing shit completely online. I don't think this is something that I need to be in person, like when I was trying to go for engineering or so on. You know, I think I can totally handle this, just giving the work. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So if I can do that and like just live somewhere wherever I want, you know, I'm thinking about Korea for like a year, and I don't have any kids yet, so why not? You know, like traveling definitely.
Awesome.
You know, still doing the things we want to do. Got friends in other countries that are just look like they're having a great time.
Oh yeah.
I did miss one question before you ask your last one. Is there anything that you would like to share that I might have missed?
You know, not in particular, man. Like I think at one point you had asked if I'd ever been locked up for a bunch of dumbass shit, bro. Like at first it was just not getting my license renewed when that was still a thing before they wiped everything. Then there's been times, I got locked up for fighting. What else?
Also like petty misdemeanor, maybe MIPs, maybe.
Yeah, I got locked up for an MIP because I literally went to court after I got out of jail and I got it. DUI. Yeah. I went to jail and all that shit, got out the next weekend, and those fuckers never saw me for 2.5 years because I had moved to Pittsburgh. I moved to LA. Yeah. So by the time they got me again, they're like, your ass is going to jail.
At least for a week.
Yeah, I was in there for 4 months, and then
oh shit.
That shit, it was just, he's like, yeah, you're a flight risk. Your ass gotta go in there for it.
Awesome. Well, Katie, your question?
Yeah. So if you could describe one word, if you could describe your journey from where you started until where you are and then where you're going, what would the one word be?
I guess if it was just one word, I'd say I'd tell people to persist, you know?
So like persistence?
Yeah.
We ask everybody because eventually some of these are going to start overlapping. Like we talked on the way here, that all these stories have a lot of overlap.
Right.
We haven't had nobody say the same word yet, but we've had
close-ish.
Yep. So I feel like success stories. I feel like a lot of people that have found success, there's an overlap.
Yeah,
somewhere,
for sure.
There has to be.
For sure.
So then the last part, two
I'll
last parts now. Sorry.
Did you pull it up?
No, I got it right here. So at the end of our episode, we give out a gift card, gift receipt, whatever, just to show my appreciation.
Oh, man, no.
And then eventually, maybe I'll get paid for it. But until then, I'm doing it because I want to.
That's sick.
And nobody else does it. So Kibby Cobb, $25.
Oh man, we love Kibby Cobb.
So best food in town, homemade bagels daily, and the famous Viking cheese for sale. Great selection of liquor, beer, and wine. Stop in today. The deli is open weekdays 8 to 8, Saturday 8 to 9.
Their food is fire. The bagel chips.
And then besides that, because we just added this into the end, I'm going to grab you a paint marker. And I'll let you.
Yes, we are signing the table, but be careful because it does not tap up very fast.
There you go, sir. Awesome. And then we'll cut the line once you're done. Thank you for coming on. All that type of stuff.
Appreciate you for having
Oh, of course, dude. Beautiful. Well, thank you for coming on, dude.
I'm glad I got to sign the table. I forgot about that.
Yeah. Hey. Cool. Well, we'll do lunch after this.
When's our next one? You want to let them know before we
I
wrap
don't
up?
have my calendar. Give me a second. It is this upcoming Saturday. We have Brandon Tripp coming on. And then the Monday after, we have Greg O'Connor. So make sure to stay tuned and catch us next week.
All right. Bye, guys.
See you guys later.
Peace out.
We're still live on stream.